Sorry, guys. Y'all hear me now? Let me know if y'all can hear me now. What it do, guys? What it do? Welcome, everybody in the room. I appreciate all y'all. Thank y'all for showing up, showing out. Man, I've just got some quite some opinions on this hiring for the Dallas Cowboys of Brian Schottenheimer and Matt Eberflus. Now, Matt Eberflus, I will say that I like him as a defensive coordinator. He's been in Dallas before, uh, and made a difference helping out our defense before. I don't think he really succeeded very much as a head coach. I think that he struggles as a head coach, as we've seen in other places that he's been. Um, I also think the Bears are really just a hard franchise to run. Good luck, Ben Johnson, to trying to run the Bears and do something positive over there with them. But man, it just shows us that the Cowboys aren't willing to go outside their comfort zone to actually hire a real head coach. They're not willing to put any equity in hiring a real head coach. They're gonna hire a head coach that's gonna want not much money. That doesn't want much money. What up, Hulk? What up, Brooke? What up, Mister SBX? What up, KB 700? What's good? Everybody in here, Mister Breast. Speaker Albert Shroom, welcome. I appreciate all y'all tuning in. What it do? Tap that like as you come through. But yeah, man, it just shows us. I think I have bad internet right now. Am I getting a bad connection? Can y'all not hear me? Yeah, I'm definitely not on mute. Uh, is Hulk trolling? Is everything able to be heard? Okay. All right, I appreciate it, Mr. Beast. I thought so. Uh, but yeah, I mean, all this shows us is that the Cowboys will not go outside their comfort zone, that they're going to pick a head coach that's not going to demand a lot of money, someone that they're comfortable with, as he's been in the building, that they want Dak to have continuity with and be able to maintain the same type of play style as we've had previously, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I think Dak in 9 years could adapt to a new offensive play style. Um, I just I think the Jones want somebody as a head coach that will do it their way. I think that they want somebody that's going to come in that they can manipulate and dip their fingers in and make decisions on the team, because they think that they can have 500 coaches come in here and coach the way Jimmy Johnson did. Now 30 years has dictated that that's not the truth. What up, Per? What's good with you? What it do? What it do? But it's just absolutely garbage, bro. I'm from North Carolina, brother.
I'm from
America. Right, Brooke? Right? You're from Indonesia? Well, shout outs to you from Indonesia. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure y'all tap that like button as you come through. But you go. I got a question. What's your question, Killer Cam? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this just shows that the Cowboys aren't willing to actually put any equity or investment in signing a head coach. Uh, they are going to pick a head coach that's not going to demand a lot of money, because we know Brian Schottenheimer ain't going to demand a lot of money. He's not going. He's going to be one of the lowest paid head coaches in the league. Cowboys are going to pay him $4, maybe $5 million if he's lucky. And he's going to be happy because nobody else wanted him. He would be outside the league if it wasn't for the Cowboys right now. You need over 50, Killer Cam. Colts fan here, and I don't understand how you can keep faith in the organization, because I've been a fan and since 92, 93 season, and I'm loyal to who I love. I love Cowboys. I bleed blue and silver. I literally have a son named Witten and a son named Micah. Like, I'm going nowhere. I'm going to be a Cowboys fan, and I'll be here long after Jerry, I'm hoping. Hopefully Jerry Jones, hopefully his tenure comes to an end at some point with the Cowboys. That's all we can wish for at this point. Yeah, you need over 50. Shout outs Mr. Beast and Big Brook. What up, Let's Go Sports? What up, Look at Mel? What's good with you? What's good with you? Get him some help. Sign free agents. That's the problem, though. That I like Matt Eberflus. I don't have really an issue with Matt Eberflus. I think he struggled as a head coach, but he's always been really good as a defensive coordinator. That's never really been the main issue here. Matt Eberflus could very well be a very good defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Let me get out and go to the store here. But it's just that, the head coaching candidacy. This coach is not going to make a difference whatsoever. Rest of victory. All right, Merrick. But 56. Well, you should be able to go live then, Killer Cam, unless some of those accounts are your own accounts. But yeah, it's just Brian Schottenheimer isn't going to be a difference maker for the Dallas Cowboys. Open the bag. He's not going to be a difference maker. It's not going to be someone that on Sundays we look at as he was the reason why we got over a hump and win these games. It's just that's not going to be the case. He's going to be somebody that the Jones know that they can walk on, that the Jones know that they have no issues. Hold on, Witten. Well, Micah. All right. But yeah, the Jones know that they're going to be able to walk on him. They're not going to be held back. They're not going to be told or met with any resistance from this coach. He's going to allow them to do what they want to do. And he's also probably going to be okay with them bringing Jason Witten in. Now, we have not heard any announcement or anything about Jason Witten yet. We do know that his coaches in the high school football league that he's in, his sons still have roughly 2 more years in that coaching development. So we will have to see how that goes. Hold on one second, guys. My bad. Oh, we're doing all right. I'm going to cash this. I'm going to get a... Eight. Oh, no. 5. My bad. I'm seeing numbers that aren't 5. Yep. And if I can get a receipt with the...
You have a good one. Come on, Whip. We gotta wait on my drink. Sorry. All right, I'm back, guys. Can you? So what did I miss? What did I miss? What up, DDL? What's good? What's good? Especially in offensive league, nobody wants Mike. Yeah, nobody wants Mike McCarthy either. You're absolutely right. He hasn't yet to get hired. He could have returned to Dallas probably, but he would have had to take that 1 or 2 year deal that I know he wasn't wanted. I'm not sure. I heard rumors that he was talking about a retirement. So we'll have to see what he does there. I wouldn't mind him being on the other side of CeeDee Lamb. That would actually be very interesting, and I would appreciate it. What up, Chase? Going to the Chargers? You think Tyreek's going to the Chargers? All right. The Cowboys are screwed because of Jerry. As long as he's, hey, I know, man. I've done said this already, but yeah, I think that the Cowboys will have to win in spite of their coaching and their owner. So until they can do that, we'll probably stay in a mediocrity area. It's just crazy that the Cowboys put no equity and no value in hiring a coach that's going to come in and actually do something positive for the organization. Uh, he's not going to be the reason we win on Sundays. That's not what Brian Schottenheimer is going to do. We'll probably get his version of what Marty Ball is. And I mean, Marty Ball's not bad. Marty Ball's good football. It's just dated. So hopefully he has a new twist or some new scheme that he can add to it to help. All right, let's go. Sportsman, shout outs to you. Appreciate you being here. Do I like Brian? I mean, I don't really have anything against him. He would have been fine as maybe the offensive coordinator, but I wasn't ready for him to be the head coach. I don't think that he was a positive hire in that regard. I think that really all it shows is that the Cowboys are going to stay in their comfort zone. Yeah, I'm at the QT. You know, I got to get that QT drink, bro. I got to get my QT drink and my cinnamon rolls. So you already know. You know, my sponsorship store. Oh, I didn't get Mama orange juice. I think they're over on the other side. So you're going to put it in a big cup for me? All right, thank you. I need to go grab an orange juice. Sorry. Grab an orange juice for my wife. What up, Kyle? What's good with you? What up, Raiders? What's good with you? She likes simply orange. Let's go Vegas Raiders. How about the Cowboys fair? Hey, man, it's just a disgrace. Yeah, I forgot the wife's drink. She wouldn't have been happy. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. You have a good one. All right, come on, Whit. Be careful. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to go back up to the register to get my wife her drink. Pete isn't going to be very good for the. No, I don't think. I mean, Pete can build a team, and that's really what the Raiders need. The Raiders need someone that can come in there and build a team, but they need a lot of pieces. And I think Pete is more of a bridge coach. I think he's just the coach that they picked until they can get themselves a new long-term coach and candidate. All right, put the gas in the car. But yeah, I don't think that he's, definitely not a splash hire. Just kind of like I know he was talked about as a candidate for the Cowboys as well. But I'm glad we didn't get him. I was not in favor of Pete. I would probably rather have
Brian Schottenheimer instead of Pete Carroll. I know Pete Carroll has done more in the league and has won championship before and been to a second, even though he kind of threw that game and sold on his organization. Do you think the hiring of Schottenheimer was better than some other options? I think Saleh probably would have been better. I think he had a better tenure as a coach. I think that he didn't have a fair opportunity in New York, but to me, all it says is that the Cowboys put absolutely no equity in hiring a head coach. That they think anybody can come in and coach the team, because at the end of the day, it don't matter who the coach is. The people that are making the calls are going to be Jimmy, or not Jimmy, Jerry and Stephen Jones. At the end of the day, those are the people that are behind all of this, pushing it, and they're the ones probably making the real coaching decisions. Hence why Mike McCarthy probably didn't want to come back. You know, the problem is the Cowboys didn't really go and actually interview anybody outside of their organization or outside of what would be the Rooney Rule. Robert Saleh was a Rooney Rule interview. Leslie Frazier, Rooney Rule interview. Like,
Mine's the bottom one, by the way.
these guys were definitely just interviews so that the Jones could say, yeah, we interviewed people that qualify for the Rooney Rule, so we can now hire the coaches that we want and that we can manipulate and get to do whatever it is that we actually want to do as a team. We don't want a coach to come in here and change the organization around. Make sure you're buckled, Witten.
Look at that car.
Yes, buckle. But we don't want a coach to come in here and change the organization around. We want a coach that doesn't want a lot of money, that'll be okay with, in a couple of years, us letting him go to bring Jason Witten in, because I think that's really what this is. I think he's a placeholder for Jason Witten. I think once Jason Witten has said that his time is done coaching the high school that he's at and where his boys are at, which I think his boys have 2 more years to play for that team, I think that Jason Witten will probably at that point then turn into the Dallas Cowboys head coach. And I don't think Brian Schottenheimer has a problem with that. I think Brian Schottenheimer is completely happy with getting $4 million, being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, because no other team has ever, for 15 years, no other team has sought after him in a coaching manner. So why would he not want to put that notch on his belt to become the 10th ever Dallas Cowboys head coach in NFL history? Like, that's just a notch on his belt. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's just going to be a pushover in that regard, that he's going to let the Jones run the team the way they want to run it. He's going to be there as the fall guy for when the Jones make more bad decisions. And I feel like the Jones are probably going to push this higher and kind of blame Dak Prescott. I think they're going to put this on Dak. I think they're going to be like, Dak vouched for this guy, because Dak did. Dak did vouch for Brian Schottenheimer. Dak did want Brian Schottenheimer to come in and stay there. He likes Schotty. He thinks that Schotty could do something good with the team. He's been looking. I mean, Schotty's been looking at different offenses throughout the league. He's been wanting to steal some of the play calling. You know that the NFL is a copycat league, so it's just a disappointment to the fan base who wanted the Cowboys to hire somebody who was going to come in and make change. What up, Alex? What's good with you, Mr. Bruce? Patriots will make a playoff run next year. I mean, I would have loved to have the coach that they got. What up, ALP Soccer? What up, DD? What's good? What's good? But yeah, man, this is just literally a comfort in the building hire. Like, literally, 3 of the 5 coaches the Cowboys talked to were previous coaches in the Cowboys organization. The other 2, you can say, were for the Rooney Rule. You can say Robert Saleh Leslie Frazier, Rooney Rule. And then you got Brian Schottenheimer, Kellen Moore, and Eberflus. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they're not willing to get out of their own way in regards to how the team actually is run. Like, why can't these owners just sit back and act like other owners? We don't want the Jerry Jones family meddling in football operations. The fan base is tired of that. There has literally been an entire generation that has grew up watching the Cowboys not win championships. I got to see 3 when I was younger. I got to see 3 championships as I was growing up when I was younger, but after that, it's been a whole generation since then, and the Cowboys have done absolutely nothing in the playoffs since then. You're talking 4 playoff wins? 4 playoff wins. That's astonishingly bad. And they're not willing to get out of their own way so that the team can win. Like, I get it that they can stay relevant even when the team loses. They can stay relevant because they've proven to do so over the last 30 years. But do they not realize that how much more relevancy they'll gain if they were to go and win a Super Bowl? How much more eyes they would get? Like, how much more they would grow as a fan base again? Like, it's completely crazy. You go to this description and press unsubscribe. Who knows how to delete subscriptions? Yeah, you should just be able to go into your subscriptions. What up, PA Slide? What up, Owen? What up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. But yeah, it's baffling to me that the Jones family is going to continue on the same trajectory that they've already been on. And that's with mediocrity and thinking that anybody can come into this organization and coach this team and gonna do something positive for it, because it's just not gonna happen. At this point, it's been proven over the last 30 years that the Cowboys can't win with 500 other coaches. All the coaches they've brought in since Jimmy Johnson have done absolutely nothing. Like, how do they not understand that 500 coaches can't come in here and do what Jimmy Johnson did? Jimmy Johnson ran the team and didn't let Jerry meddle in team business. Jeremy Johnson was not going to sit down and let Jerry Jones come in and banter with the Cowboys and talk with them and be like, yeah, you're going to be here playing. I'm going to let you play, and you're going to sit on the sidelines as a healthy scratch. But it's just, yeah, I got 2 cinnamon rolls.
No. No.
Yeah? Huh? He doesn't eat them.
Oh, no, why?
He doesn't eat them. So you eat yours.
The bottom one's mine.
Just grab one, dude. It don't matter. They're all the same. But yeah, the Cowboys haven't been good since the 90s. You're absolutely correct in that aspect. Especially if you're talking playoff runs. We've had some historic great regular seasons, but what does that amount to in the grand scheme of anything? Like, what does that actually amount to? What are regular season wins doing for the Cowboys? Because to me, I don't think they're doing anything for the Cowboys. You want a piece of it? Hold on. There you go. Micah, here. Dude, if you going to eat it or no? See, that's why I don't give you them. They didn't have the donut that you like. All they had were croissants, cinnamon rolls, and the big triangle
donuts that have the nasty flavoring frosting on them. Don't subscribe. I don't think Dee Dee's gonna unsubscribe here. I think she enjoys being here. I could be wrong, but she seems to be here a good bit. What up, Lil Reacher? What it do? What it do? But yeah, to me, it's just asinine. What would be your letter grade for the Cowboys coach hiring? I would give them, well, for Brian Schottenheimer, I would probably give it a C. Because it's not that I don't think that he can come in the Cowboys organization and do good. I think that he could be decent as a head coach. I don't, we haven't seen. It's unknown. We know he is a very intelligent football guy. We know that when he talks football, he knows what he's talking about. That he was raised in a football legacy with Marty Schottenheimer. So I'm sure we're going to see some version of Marty Ball, but what that looks like is to be seen, because we have yet to see him actually do anything in the NFL that's been of good matter. Like, his best year as a coordinator was probably the 2020 season with Russell Wilson, when Russell Wilson had 40 touchdowns, 44 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and it was the let Russell cook era. Like, let Russell cook was the development being pushed behind Brian Schottenheimer. What up, Jalen? What's good with you? What up, Mark? What up, Richard? What's good? What's good? Philly Matt, what's good? Just your average Devin, what's good? Alex, what's good? You say D+. I hear you. Now, Matt Eberflus, on the other hand, I really do like Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator. I think that when he was with the Cowboys previously, before he left to go to the Bears, I think that he did good. I think that he definitely helped out our linebackers and our defensive line, and was able to get them to have some really good production in those years. So, Micah Parsons may still thrive underneath Matt Eberflus. It's hard to be sold on a Brian Schottenheimer coach as the Cowboys, for the simple fact that, nobody else wanted him. It's been 15 years since somebody has sought after him as a head coach, and he was only sought after for a little bit then. He wasn't even hired then. Now he comes back 15 years later as a 51-year-old that hasn't really done much in the league since 2020. His last development was the let Russell cook movement that he was pushing. And then since then, he hasn't done nothing. He wasn't a play caller for the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy wouldn't even let him install any new wrinkles or developments in the offensive play calling. It was rumored that Mike McCarthy literally... All right, so Mike McCarthy brings Brian Schottenheimer on the Cowboys as like a backup or coordinator, or of like an offensive play analyst behind Kellen Moore 2 years ago. All right, so his job at that point is to study the other offenses, to see what they're doing, that we could possibly, steal to help the Cowboys be better on offense, and what plays we could use with what wrinkles might help. It got to the point where Mike McCarthy had him doing that job for nothing, because he literally wasn't taking any of the advice that Shotty was giving him. What up, Mr. Power? What up, Talon? What up, YM? What's good? James Sports, what's good? Make sure y'all tap that like button as you tune in. But yeah, I mean, Mike McCarthy wasn't even willing to listen to the knowledge that he brought Shotty in to talk about. And Shotty was more beneficial to the defensive players on the Cowboys being an offensive coach than he was to the offense. The defensive players loved him because as he was studying other teams' offenses, he was letting our defense know. He was filling them in on tendencies, techniques, and different play styles that the Cowboys defense was going to come up against in the next upcoming games.
So the defensive players love him. Actually, all the players on the team really did love Brian Schottenheimer, and they are kind of a pushing force on the reason behind. What up, Ray B. Drippin'? What's good with you? What's good with you? Drake's a good quarterback. I mean, we'll have to see. He did decent his first year. We'll have to see. What up, Chicken? I ain't got no hate on him. I don't judge rookie quarterbacks. I wait until they're in their third season before I put any type of stamp on them. Have you seen we got Brian as head coach? Yeah, Taylor, that's what I'm talking about. We got Brian Schottenheimer as head coach and Matt Eberflus as our defensive coordinator. Now, I'm not disappointed with the Matt Eberflus. I'm perfectly fine with Matt Eberflus. I think Matt Eberflus will be a great defensive coordinator. I don't have a problem with that. I'm more interested at this point in who are we bringing in for special teams because we lost Bones, and who are we bringing in for the offensive coordinator position, because those are still two jobs that we need to fill the candidacy in. And what are we going to do with those positions? I know the Cowboys really want Jason Witten in the building at some point. Whether Jason Witten is willing to leave the high school that he's coaching at 2 years before his sons are gone from there or not, we don't know. But we do know that Jason Witten will eventually at some point be on the Dallas Cowboys as a coach in some capacity, whether it's this year or 2 years from now when his sons are no longer able to play on the team that he coaches. Yes, Al Harris went to the Bears. He's going to be over there with Ben Johnson. And good luck to them. I would have loved to have had Al Harris come in. Al Johnson, I'm mixing the two. But I would have loved to have had Al Harris come in and be the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. I think that would have been a fantastic move. But again, I'm not upset really with the Matt Eberflus. I think Eberflus can be a good coordinator for the defense. I think he just wasn't cut out for the coaching role. And not only that, I mean, in in Chicago, it's hard. Good luck to Ben Johnson. I think he's gonna have way more struggles than he's anticipating. And he also has a whole fan base that's turning on him, as he went to the team's rival to become the head coach. It, I just, I don't get the thought process. I don't. Were the Cowboys, because the Cowboys didn't even really interview anybody outside the building of the Cowboys, except for two people you could put was the Rooney Rule, which was Robert Saleh and Leslie Frazier. Those two, you can say that was Rooney Rule, and then they interviewed Kellen Moore, Brian Schottenheimer, Matt Eberflus. Like, come on. They didn't go outside of the building to get a coaching candidate. Were they scared to get turned down because maybe the Cowboys coaching candidacy, maybe it's not such a hot commodity? Maybe coaches didn't want to come coach in the Cowboys. Maybe they didn't want to come be a puppet to Jerry. Maybe it's not as good of a job as people are actually talking about it to be. I can tell you what, I'm really waiting to see what Michael Irvin's reaction is going to be on this, because he was stamping and standing on the fact that he wanted someone to come in here that was going to make a difference. Hey, you don't have to like my sunglasses. It's absolutely fine. What do you make of McDaniels going back to New England? I mean, that's where McDaniels belonged, honestly. That's where he thrived and did the best. Yeah, I say a whole lot of nothing. Absolutely. I appreciate you being here to listen to me tell you nothing. What up, Terry? What's good with you? Yeah, we do. We need a lot, brother. We definitely need a lot. Why doesn't John Gruden get interviews? He is a great football mind if he doesn't. Hey, I would have been interested in that. But the question is Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones didn't even actually inquire about getting interviews with other coaches. Is it because they were scared to get turned down? Were the Cowboys scared to interview other coaches outside the organization because they were afraid that if they got turned down, it would look bad on the Cowboys? Is that a realistic thing that could be? No, not really. I'm not a big fan of McDaniels. I think that he may thrive under Vrabel, but I think that he really hasn't done much ever since stepping out from under Bill Belichick. So I mean, I'm not like in favor vastly of that. I wouldn't have been. I mean, I wanted the Cowboys to go out of their comfort zone and get the defensive coordinator from Detroit, but they didn't even get an interview with him. And like I said, why didn't they get an interview with him? What is the reason behind it? Is it because they were scared to get turned down? Is it because they know that the Cowboys coaching job is not a sought after job in the league at this point? Because people don't want to come in here and have to deal with Jerry? Because Jerry wants to run the team his way? Because he wants the team to be successful his way of doing it? I'm not sure. I have to look into that, Philly man. I'm not sure what the deal terms were that he signed. Did he only sign a 1-year deal with the Ravens? I don't know. I would have to look into that. I haven't looked into that yet. The Cowboys have a good roster, but man, they're just so bland. I agree. And they're bland because they won't go out of their own way to actually let somebody come in here and build this team to be better. The Jerry Jones think that they can win it their way. They think that, like they told Jimmy Johnson, 500 coaches could have came in here and coached the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. And even though they've been proven wrong over the last 30 years, they still believe that. They still believe that they can bring any coach in here and win, which is why they still go about picking coaches the way they do. They hire coaches that they're comfortable with. They hire coaches that they know that they can put their imprint and their mindset on what they want to do, and that coach is going to agree with it and go with it and not have any resistance. They're not going to be met with any resistance with anything they tell Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer is just going to be grateful to have a job. He's not a sought after coach. What up, Eagles fan? What it do? He's not sought after. Nobody wanted Brian Schottenheimer. They weren't even interviewing him. Nobody was even interviewing Brian Schottenheimer to be an offensive coordinator for a team. It's just crazy that they do what they do here. Jerry needs an avatar. He wants to run there. Exactly, Lavelle. And he needs to get out of his own way. I don't get it. Like, he's not gonna win his way again. They got lucky with Barry Switzer, and the only reason they got lucky with Barry Switzer was because Troy Aikman pushed for that season. Troy Aikman was literally on the sidelines yelling and fighting about Barry Switzer being here on a retirement plan. That Barry Switzer wasn't doing his job, and that Troy Aikman had to be the babysitter for the team and had to be the one that held everybody accountable for the team in that 95 season that propelled them to the Super Bowl that year. And they were not a good team that year. The Cowboys were much better in the 94 season than they were in the 95 season. You can go find interviews with any of the players from the team in those eras, and they'll tell you that we were a better team in 94 than we were in 95. But they won it in 95 because Troy Aikman was the one in the catalyst, being the disciplinarian. He was the one motivating the team and trying to get the team to do what they could do, and also adding the Deion Sanders and man, I forgot his name off the top of my head right now. 94. The other guy they stole from San Francisco. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Big defensive lineman. But it's just absolutely crazy that they aren't going to be able to sell this to the fan base as, yeah, we're all in, which was a a lie to us last year that we're all in and we're actually going to try to win this thing. There's no way they can sell that to the Cowboys with Brian Schottenheimer being the hire of their head coach. What's up? Yes, Matt Eberflus is the defensive coordinator, Messi. Which I don't have a problem with Matt Eberflus. I really think that Matt Eberflus is actually a really good hire. I think that he can really come in and help the defense out. I don't have any issues with Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator. I think that's actually a really good hire. I haven't done any. Matt Eberflus was once with the Cowboys previous. He left the Cowboys, which he had Sean Lee, DeMarcus Ware, Anthony Spears. He had them all having their best seasons. And then he went to go become a head coach for Chicago, and it's one, Chicago's a hard place to be a head coach for, and then two, going from defensive coordinator to head coach is completely different. You may be a phenomenal defensive coordinator and not be a very good head coach. It's just they're two different jobs that are hard to compare. Exactly. I think Matt Eberflus is a very good defensive coordinator. I don't have any issues with that, and it ain't really that I have issues with the Brian Schottenheimer hire, because don't get me wrong, I don't know what he's going to bring. I know it's probably going to be some version of Marty Ball. Now, Marty Ball was great. His dad was great. So we know Brian Schottenheimer has a good football pedigree. We know that he understands football, and that when you listen to his conversations in the interview, that he can talk football with you. He can talk football with the best of them. He understands football. Exactly, Philly Matt. You got flushed. Flused? Yeah, we got flused, exactly. But I mean, so I'm not gonna sit here and say that, like, because I don't like the hire for Brian Schottenheimer that he's going to be a bad coach, because that's just something that we don't know. That's an unknown factor at this point. He may very well be a good head coach. I do know that some of the things that he has talked about in the past interviews you know, with the Cowboys that he would like to have implemented that McCarthy wouldn't let him implement would be very beneficial to the Cowboys. We know he's going to bring a running game, like McCarthy said he was going to, but lied. And Dak Prescott really needs a running game to help him be a balanced offense. I think Dak Prescott could very well thrive with Brian Schottenheimer as the head coach. It's just the unknown. It's just what is Shotty gonna be part of the reason why we win on Sundays, or are the Cowboys going to have to win in spite of the coaching like they have in previous years? What up, Moore? What up, Gray? What's good? What's good with y'all? The Cowboys are a brand that occasionally plays football. Fortunately, it's not good. Jerry has a brain. No, 100%, 100%. I somewhat agree with that settlement. Appreciate the luck, brother. Appreciate the luck. No, yeah, we'll definitely give him a chance more. Like I said, it's not that I would have been probably fine if they brought him in as the offensive coordinator. I probably would have sat more firm and happy with that than to bring him in as the head coach. I'm trying to find what it is that the Cowboys actually saw in Brian Schottenheimer that made them pull the trigger on hiring him as the head coach. Because if you ask me, there's been nothing that he's done in the past or to this point that indicates that he's going to be a good head coach. Now again, there's nothing that indicates that he won't be. So it's an unknown, and he very may well be. So I don't want to sit here and just bash the guy just because I don't like the hire. Because who knows? He may very well be a decent head coach for the Cowboys. He may come in and have this team looking better than than Mike McCarthy. But this hire just reminds me a lot of the Chan Gailey hire. To me, he's like a Mike McCarthy 2.0, where he's going to be a puppet for the Jones. And I just don't see how that helps our Cowboys on a Sunday. Fangio just not blitzing. Yeah, no, yeah. Like I said, I ain't got no issues with. Yeah, yeah. Like I have no problem with Eberflus. I actually like the Eberflus hire. Um, I just want to know at this point, who are we bringing in as offensive coordinator, and who are we bringing back as the special teams coordinator? Please, if you're in here, make sure y'all tap the like button for your boy. We're at 16 likes, just trying to pop those up to get them up there with the views. But yeah, it's just, bro, the only competition to the Commanders is the Cowboys. The younger minds are proven to be much better for the team, other than Reed. He's the only exception. I agree. Reed is literally probably the only older coach in the league, and you can actually put some of that on his coaching coordinators that are younger. But yeah, the new NFL minds are definitely, the younger NFL minds are definitely making their statement and their stance in the NFL. The only problems with it is that those trees, the Shanahan tree, the McVay tree, those trees are starting to dry up. Like, what, McVay has one offensive coordinator that he just got it will probably be a decent hire, or a sought after coach at some point as well. But it's just, to me, I just don't understand it. I don't understand how the Cowboys don't see that they're getting in their own way when it comes to having team success. That if the Cowboys really want to have some actual team success, that they need to get out of their own way. That they need to step aside and let somebody come coach this organization. Mello, come on. That they need to let somebody come into this organization that's going to make some changes, that's going to be a difference maker on Sundays, and going to be a reason to, like, all right, we outcoached that other team. That is not a statement that Cowboy fans have ever really said. You have never heard a Cowboys fan after a game say, man, we outcoached them. We just outcoached them. That team just got outcoached. You have never heard the Cowboys say that since Jimmy Johnson was a coach. And again, that's not going to be a settlement that I feel is said in the future with the hire that we picked. But is he just a placeholder for Jason Witten is my real question. Because if he is, I feel that they should have just went ahead and pulled the trigger and hired Jason Witten. Woo, pig soul. What up, Gino? What's good with you? Runs a lot of too high safeties. The younger minds are proven. Do you think Schottenheimer will change the offense in a big way? What I think, Philly Matt, is I think that he's probably going to bring a running game to the offense, and he's going to stick to it. I think that he does like to run the ball. I think we're going to see a version of Marty Ball. I don't know if you understand what Marty Ball is. I don't know if you've seen much of it, Philly Matt. But if you go watch some of what his dad's offenses used to do, they were, what they called Marty Ball was a run the ball. It was tough, gritty, hard-nosed football that they played. Now, I feel like not Matt Eberflus, but that Shotty, who has been studying the teams in the NFL over the last couple of years and wanting to implement some of what other teams do, is going to have his own take on Marty Ball. But how that takes in the Cowboys organization is going to be highly dependent on some of the players that we bring in. Are we going to make any free agency acquisitions? We got people like Micah Parsons who are highly suggesting that the Cowboys be very active in the free agency market. Are the Cowboys going to be put any pressure on other teams in the NFL draft? Are they going to make trades up? Are they going to try to go after players that can actually better the Cowboys? Those are questions that we're going to have to figure out in this offseason, and see how it goes moving forward. But as of right now, as a Cowboy fan, it's hard to have and find excitement over the Brian Schottenheimer coaching hire. But at the end of the day, I've got to come and I've got to find a way to just mellow, calm down. You got to find a way. Stop jumping. You ain't jumping on me, dude. Mellow, go. Too damn hyper. But yeah, it's just Dan Quinn. Yeah, Dan Quinn was great. Hey, Mello. No, sir. You stay over here. My dog. That boy just runs and runs and runs and runs. That's all he wants to do. But yeah, it's crazy. What about Dan Quinn? Too solid? So the Cowboys are going to spend money this offseason to compete with us, or what? Because y'all need a lot. You're right, Philly Matt. We do need a lot more talent. Oh, not much, Jeff. We're just talking about the coaching hires and the opinions on Matt Eberflus and Brian Schottenheimer being the coaches of the Cowboys. But yeah, man, they need a lot. You've got Micah Parsons pounding on the table for the Cowboys to be active in free agency. Now that's something that they haven't been in recent years. They haven't been a team that's been very active in free agency. We have relied heavily on the draft and what we can get out of the draft, and that has been part of the detriment. That is part of why our team was as bad as we were last season. And then the injuries on top of that didn't help us, but it's just crazy. I mean, the defense needs linebackers, safeties, and we need DTs, linebackers, safeties. We need running back. We need O-line. We need wide receiver. Yeah, we need a lot, a whole lot. The reason why McCarthy is not the head coach of the Cowboys at this moment, some people say that the Cowboys organization tried to push him out the door. Mike McCarthy, when him and Jerry had the interview about having a re-signing of his contract to keep him as a Cowboy, Mike McCarthy was asking for 4 or 5 years on his contract. He was asking for player control, as in times where we had Rico Dowdle as a healthy scratch just so that we could see Dalvin Cook and Zeke together, when the fan base and the team really needed to see Dalvin Cook and Dowdle together. But they had Dowdle as a healthy scratch and they brought Zeke in, stuff like that goes against what the coach was actually trying to do to help better the team. So Mike McCarthy was looking for some player control. He was looking for 4 or 5 years, and the Jones family just was not willing to give him that. They offered him another $500,000, and then they offered him a 1 to possibly 2-year deal, and they just couldn't come to agreements on terms, and that's why Mike McCarthy is out. But if you look, that may have been a good choice, because to this point right now, Mike McCarthy is still not hired. He is still not a coach in the NFL at this point. I don't know. It's hard to say, Philly Matt, because I think he's just really a placeholder. I think that Brian Schotty, who is someone mellow, that is just ecstatic to just be on a team, to just have a coaching job, and be a part of the Cowboys. This is literally just a notch on Schotty's belt. Because he's never got to be a coach. He's now become the 10th coach, the number 10 for coach of Cowboys of all time. And it's just a job that he has that he can say that I was the coach of the Cowboys. But past that, I don't think there's much to it. I think that he's a placeholder until Jason Witten is ready to move up. I think Jason Witten's his sons have 1 or 2 more years that they're going to be on the team that Jason Witten actually coaches. And I think that's what Jason Witten is waiting for. I think that Mello, let's go. Get out of the road. Walk. 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 I don't know where Mom is. I was outside. She's probably in the bathroom. But yeah, it's just, to me, I don't get it. I don't think that, like I said, yeah, I'm outside right now. Lemon, definitely. You don't want to get in a firing. It does. You absolutely right. You absolutely right. And I don't think that the Jones, I think that when they fired Wade Phillips halfway through the year and brought Jason Garrett on, that was really a rarity for them. That's the only time they have ever fired a coach mid-season, and they have gone on record saying that that's not something that they would be willing to really do going forward, is to fire a coach mid-year. We could, you could say that at the end of the year we could fire him, but I don't think that that's the case. I think that when they had their interview with Brian Schottenheimer, they asked him, all right, are you willing to have Jason Witten on your coaching staff? And I'm sure Brian Schottenheimer was probably like, yeah, all right. Well, then they probably asked him, okay, well, in a couple of years, we really are looking forward to having Jason Witten as being our head coach because we think that he's going to be the next Dan Campbell. This ain't me thinking. This is the Cowboys thinking because I feel like this is how they think. Because we think that he's going to be the next Dan Campbell as far as head coaching candidates go. And Brian Schottenheimer was probably like, yes, I'm completely fine with coming in and being the head coach of the Cowboys for a couple of years to get you guys a head coach that ain't going to cost you a lot of money, that ain't going to have pushback as far as how the organization and the football team are being run. He's going to follow along and do exactly what he's going to follow along and do exactly what he's told. He's going to be a good boy for the Cowboys, and that's what it's going to amount to. Pat's doing all right. But yeah, Pat's doing all right. He's actually hopped on, not the last stream, but one of the last streams he hopped on. But yeah, man, he's doing all right. He's trying to get things situated with himself. How far of field goals do you think I'll be able to kick at practice today? I'm a freshman. I don't know, 30 yards. I don't know much about your masked man, so I'm just going to say 30, 35 yards. Why doesn't Jerry just say to himself at 90 years old, let me GM and be a fan for my life? Right, Harry? I wish. Like, I wish for that to be the statement. Please, guys, make sure y'all tap that like button. We got 47 people in here, and there's only 20 likes. And I appreciate it if y'all get the like button up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, hoping for a 45-yarder today. There you go. There you go. How old are you, masked man? Kicking what grade are you in? 45-yarder would be good for anybody that's in high school. What up, John B? Not even a Cowboy fan. And it's Jerry. Hey, man, I feel that heavily, bro. No, the problem is, Talon, is Jerry Jones be way too overthinking because he be thinking that he can win doing it his way. And we all know that that's not the case. Pat's the day one. He's the original moderator for this channel. It's Pat 1984. You may not have seen him come in here a couple of times. Just lately, he's been dealing with a lot of stuff, so he hasn't been on as much of lately. But yeah, he's one of my good friends, and he's the only moderator besides myself that has managing abilities on the channel. He actually has the authority in my channel to do some managing aspects. But it's just crazy. I'm going to put a poll up real quick to see what everybody's thinking. Oh, it didn't type. Let's see. No, yeah, I was putting a poll up. I was just putting a poll up. So every time I do a poll, I use the voice to text, and it mutes the channel, I guess, when I do that. I didn't know that until you guys said it, but it's not me muting it. It's just me putting a poll up. Why do you hate Eberflus? Eberflus, I'm actually okay with that hiring. I think that DeMarcus Ware, Sean Lee, Anthony Spencer, and folks, I think they had some of their best seasons with him. What up, Ralph? What's good with you? What up, Jeff? Saw a video this morning. They said that it was, yeah, 100%. You're a Bears fan? Oh, I got you. Yeah, well, I mean, Eberflus as a head coach is completely different than Eberflus as a defensive coordinator. Do you know, Masked Man, that Eberflus actually left the Cowboys in a defensive coaching role to become the head coach of the Chicago Bears? He's been in Dallas before. Eberflus is someone that the Cowboys know very well as well. But yeah, he's a much better defensive coordinator than he is for head coach. I think, and not only that, it's hard to be a head coach in Chicago, man. Hopefully, good luck to Ben Johnson, because that's not a coaching candidacy that's going to be very easy at all. It's not easy to coach the Bears. The Bears make quick and rash decisions, and if he doesn't do exactly what they want, they'll be quick to get rid of him. But yes, they did have a very stellar defense. The Bears definitely had a good defense. It was just their offense that lacked. As a Lions fan, I hope that Ben coaches horrible at Chicago. He very well may, Messi. I'm not a fan of his press conference interview. He sounded very arrogant and just, I don't know. I was not impressed with his interview, with his press conference interview. I was watching the press conference interview of Ben Johnson with Chicago Bears, thinking, man, I'm happy we didn't get him. I'm just happy we didn't get him. Hey, I feel that same settlement, Masked Man. I feel that same settlement. I'm at the point where I'm going to start tweeting to Elon Musk, asking him to please go buy the Cowboys. I don't know what you know about football, Eli. Probably nothing. But please, Elon Musk, go buy the Cowboys. Get that thing out of jail. Or Nick Khan, please go buy the Cowboys. Somebody that will just sit back and be an owner, please go buy the Cowboys. Does your mom know you have her glasses? Absolutely. My mom is probably in the chat. If you want to be real. My mom is most likely in the chat. She probably ain't talking because she doesn't get involved in that, but she watches when I go live. But no, also, I'm 37 years old. My mom comes to stay with me. I don't live with my mom. I honestly don't think that Ben is that good. I like the Lions DC much better. No, yeah, 100%. I was way more wanting Aaron Glenn. I wanted Aaron Glenn. I liked Ben Johnson. I thought he did a good job. I had, I had high expectations for him because of what he had done in Detroit. But just after listening to two of his interviews, it just something don't sit right. Something just don't sit right with Ben Johnson with me. And I could be completely wrong on that. I could be reading a situation completely wrong. Who knows? But that's just how I felt on it. I hope Daniels fails. He's gone too far for a rookie. Hey, man, I give kudos to him. I'm far from a Redskins fan, but I'll give him kudos, man. That's good for the NFL. Jerry will take the Cowboys to the grave. Maybe, Jeff. England's scheme is very good for this day and age. Yes, absolutely, Philly Matt. Absolutely, bro. But yeah, guys, I'm probably gonna hop off here for now. And get in here and eat some breakfast. I hopped on right after getting up for the most part. Man, make sure y'all go tap that like button. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. And let us know in the comments what y'all think on the Cowboys hiring Brian Schottenheimer and Matt Eberflus as the coaches for the Cowboys. Y'all have a blessed day. Make every day great on purpose. I know I will. And man, make sure y'all treat everybody right.